All right, welcome back. It's Thursday, period 7. Okay, so hopefully you have got your textbooks open to 152 to 153. I'll give you a quick minute to do that. Now, I know this lesson says guided practice, which you usually do with your partners, but since I'm not there, I'm going to kind of help you out a little bit, and then I'm going to have you do the rest on your own. And hopefully, if you work on this very seriously, I'll have my wonderful sub play the remainder of this video so you can see how to answer numbers 16 and 17, which I will have you doing on your own. All right, first, go ahead and get your highlighters out. I'm going to walk you through this first example here. It says, Josh walked a total of 5 miles today. First, he walked 1 mile from his house to his park. All right, so let's talk about that. It's 1 mile. Whoops. Try that again. My highlighter went a little crazy there. Hopefully yours is a little better. All right. So 1 mile from, still going down, from his house to the park. So go ahead and highlight that. Then he walked 3/4 of a loop trail at the park. So he kind of went around like in the laps. And finally, he walked back home. But you have to remember his home is 1 mile. So back home, that's an additional mile. How many laps did Josh walk around the trail? All right. Remember, his total is 5 miles today. So all of those things we should highlight. So let's go ahead and look at their work and see if we can kind of break it down. So you saw that it's 1 mile to the park. Okay, says that right there. It's 1 mile to his home. Okay, because it's from his house to the park. And then he went back home. So there's 2 miles. They already wrote it for us. What we don't know is what he did at the actual park. So that will be our variable. So you can see they set it up here. We have 2 plus 3/4 x, because all it says is he walked 3/4 of a mile around the loop. We don't know how big the loop is. Okay? So that's why there's an x there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and work it out over here just so I can kind of talk to you about it as I work it out. So I'm going to erase this real quick just so I have a little bit more room. You can rewrite this alongside with me if you prefer. So I'm going to have 2 plus 3/4 x equals 5. Again, we want to get rid of this 2 because we can't get rid of what's attached to the x yet. We need to get rid of the other stuff first. This is a positive 2, so I'm going to subtract 2. What you do to one side, you do to the other. My 2's cancel because they become a 0. I have 3/4 x brought down equals 5 take away 2 is 3. All right, now I need to get rid of this x. It's being multiplied, or excuse me, I need to get rid of the 3/4 so I can keep the x. It's being multiplied at the time, so we're going to divide 3/4. This is kind of like what we did on Tuesday when I ran in at the last minute with you guys. What you do to one side, you do to the other, just like that. These are going to cancel because they become a 1, and that brings my x down. Now I need to change this up a little bit. So I'm going to put a 1 under this to make it look like a fraction. I'm going to change this sign to a multiplication, and I'm going to flip this fraction upside down. So in the end, I get 3/1 times 4/3. All right, so check your diagonals. Is there anything I can divide out? Hopefully you all said 3. Divide out the 3's. So what am I left with? I'm left with 4/1, which equals 4. So 3/4 of a mile is actually 4 laps at the park. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. You don't really need to have written it down, but if you like writing it how I work it out, that's totally fine. But I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to number 15. All right, so number 15 says, an amusement park reduced its admission price to $15.50 per day, but now charges $1.50 per ride. So they went cheaper, but now they charge you the rides. So basically $15.50 gets you into the park, but you can't ride any of the rides unless you pay for them. Mark has $26 to spend on admission and rides. Write and solve an equation to find how many rides he can actually ride. So if he only has $26, that's all his mama gave him. Okay, she drops him off at the amusement park. How many rides is he going to be able to ride after he pays the admission price? So admission price we're going to highlight is $15.50. It's $1.50 per ride. He has $26. And of course, we're going to highlight the question at hand. So make sure you get all those highlighted. All right, so let's go ahead and write an equation. We know that the admission price is $15.50. All right, we know that each ride is $1.50. So I'm going to go ahead and just say, I'm going to add the admission price to $1.50 per ride. And per ride, we'll just say X because we don't know how many he's going to actually be able to ride. So that changes. We're just going to have to multiply each time. But we do know he has a total of $26. And there's your equation. So let's go ahead and solve it. Again, we want to get the X by itself, so we need to get rid of this $15.50. He has $26. We all know he has to spend the $15.50 on admission. So let's go ahead and subtract that. And again, what you do to one side, you do to the other. All right. Now the 26 doesn't have a decimal, so we're going to add one and add 2 zeros. My two 15.50s over here cancel. And I wind up with $1.50x equals 26 take away $15.50 leaves me with $10.50. All right, now we need to get this x by itself, but it's being multiplied by 1.5 or $1.50. So we need to divide this by $1.50. What you do to one side, you do to the other. The $1.50s over here cancel, leaving me with an x equals. Remember your little zero rule. You can get rid of those zeros if you want. So in your calculators, put 10.5 divided by 1.5, and you should get 7. He can ride 7 rides with his budget of $26. All right, so you can go ahead and box that, and there's your final answer. All right, so at this time, I'm going to ask my wonderful sub to pause the video. You and your partner, your shoulder partner next to you. Okay, if you need to make a group of 3, make a group of 3 if somebody's absent at your row. But your immediate shoulder partner, not moving seats, you are going to complete 16 and 17. And then I'm going to ask my wonderful sub, if you are well behaved and working well, to hit play to see if you did 16 and 17 correctly. If you did, well then, you know you're getting this stuff and it's going to make sense and you're going to do well on the quiz. All right, so get to it, partner up. My wonderful sub, please hit pause now. All right, so if you are hearing this video, then you must have done well for the sub. We are going to go ahead and work through 16. Theo made a donation to charity. His grandfather agreed to add $4 to Theo's donation amount and then donate half of that sum. Theo's grandfather donated $4.25. Write and solve the equation or an equation to find the amount of Theo's actual donation. All right, so we know that we have, let me go ahead and highlight a couple things here. We know that his father agreed to add $4 to whatever his donation is, and then he's going to also donate half of whatever he already has. So far, his Grandfather has donated $4.25. So let's go ahead and talk this through. We're going to write an equation. So we have a donation. Let's call it D. Okay, D for donation. He's going to add $4. So let's go ahead and say donation plus 4. And then his dad says, to Theo's donation amount, and then donate half of a sum. Well, sum means I need to add these two together, and then he's going to give half. So we're going to multiply by half. And at the very end, we know that his grandfather did donate $4.25. So we have a little bit of distributive property here. So I am going to multiply the half times the D. So half times D, you just slap them together, you get half D. Okay? And what you do to the first one, you also got to do the second one. Half times 4. Now, if you remember, fractions just mean to divide. So what is half of 4? It is 2. So I'm going to bring down a plus 2. So now my parentheses are gone, and I'm ready to roll. And I did not touch the 425, so that's going to fall down. Okay, at this point, I am going to subtract the 2 because I can't take care of the half yet. I need to get rid of the addition or subtraction first. So what is the inverse of adding 2? It's subtracting 2. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. Now, since 2 is a whole number, it's going to get lined up under the 4, which means you can give it a decimal and 2 zeros. The 2's cancel because it equals 0. I'm going to bring down half D. Now, in your calculators, if you do 425, take away 2, you should have got 225. All right, now we can solve for this D. The half is being multiplied. So the opposite of multiplication is to divide that half out. So I'm going to come over here and divide by half. Now at this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and make this a, no, I'll go ahead and leave it a fraction. I'll leave it a fraction because you'll see what's going to happen here. These cancel, all right? Now I can change this to a fraction, which putting this over 1, changing this sign, and flipping this fraction. You'll see what's going to happen here and why I didn't change that half to a 0.5. So I'm going to do my work over here because I kind of ran out of room. So we have 2.25 over 1 times 2 over 1. If you notice, both of my denominators are 1s. So I don't even have to worry about them. I just multiply straight across. So I have 2.25 times 2. If you do that in the calculator, you get 4.5 over 1. And basically, D equals $4.50. Okay, make sure you keep the dollar sign. And if you drop the 0 at any point, you added it back. Because we are talking about money. All right, hopefully you did well on that one. You got that one. All right, let's talk about 17. I'm going to go ahead and erase. Scroll this up a little bit. All right, 17. The hair care salon charges a stylist $30 per day to rent a station at the salon. Rhonda, a stylist, she makes $10.50 for each haircut. Which equation will help you decide how many haircuts she must give in one day to make $138 after paying her rent for her station? So we have some things I want to highlight here. Okay, so it pays $38 a day for rent. So no matter what, she has to pay $30 a day. Now, of course, you can say, well, how much is that in a week and things like that, but they're not asking for all that. She makes only $10.50 on a haircut. We're not talking about all the other kind of things she could be doing, so don't go there. Now, I want to know how many haircuts she must give in one day. I'm kind of highlighting the sentence here to make $138. So if you notice, they all have a total of 138. So you can't jump ahead and go, oh, which one just says 138? They all do. So you really do have to break down each equation. So this is 30 times H minus the 1050 equals 138. Well, are we doing 30 times a haircut? No, it's 30 times the rent. It's 30 times the day. So we're not doing 30 times a haircut and then minusing 1050. So that's not going to be a good option. All right, for B, is it 1050 times a haircut plus the 30? Well, that's not going to work because that's saying she gets an extra $30. No, she's not getting $30. She has to pay rent. So this should have been a subtract $30. So that's not going to work. She's not getting extra money for having a booth. All right, C, same thing as A. It's saying $30 per haircut. She's making $30 a haircut and also gaining an extra $10.50? No. Okay, if you know you're paying rent, let me give you a hint. There should be a subtraction symbol in there somewhere. That's a negative. You have to pay it. It's a bill. So C is not going to work. D looks like it's going to be our only option because $10.50 per haircut. That means you're timesing the haircut. And we're getting rid of $30 a day for the rent. So this subtraction here is showing the paying of the rent. So this is the best option, which is D. Now it says Lonnie chose B as the correct answer. How did he get that wrong? So B is 1050. Go ahead and rewrite this if you haven't. 1050H plus 30 equals 138. What did he do wrong? Well, he's saying it's $10.50 per haircut. So again, if you have something written here, just write it on the side, which is true. Check. That's good. But then he also has here plus 30, which means she gets $30 a day for rent. Let's see. I'm gonna write over here for rent. She doesn't get $30 for having a booth there. She has to give $30 for having a booth there. All right. So that's where the mistake is the mistake is saying, let me pick a different color here. I'll go back to red. The mistake here is it needs to show losing $30 a day. And that's for the rent. All right, guys, that's the last video for this class. Tomorrow, Friday, you guys are doing page 154 and 155 independently. So hopefully you've kept your notes really well this whole time, your textbook, and you are able to complete those 2 pages on your own. I will grade it when I come back on Monday, when I check your textbooks again. So make sure everything is ready. Now again, tonight's homework, this is Thursday. Tonight's homework is practice book pages 167 and 168. And again, that's due on 3/20. Have a great day.